Good afternoon, Wichita. So I'm Nate with Wichita Homeworks, and today I am with another one of our killer, awesome team members. This is Dustin. So today I want to, a couple weeks ago we were riding along with Heath. He was one of our project managers. And today I wanted to kind of highlight Dustin and what his role is with us in the company, and kind of talk about the stage of the project that he oversees. So Dustin is what we call a production manager. And Dustin, if you had to try and put that in a box, it's tough, but what would you say are some of your main kind of responsibilities? What are some of your goals in your position?
So I think in the construction industry, there's a lot that goes on a job site. There's a lot that goes into getting that ready. Stuff that customers don't always see, even the salespeople don't see. So there's a lot of behind the scenes that happen. And so my goal is to make sure that goes as smooth as possible, so that the customer never has to see that part, or other people don't have to be involved in that. So we're planning, planning subs, planning the labor to actually get the job done, making sure products are there on site. Really just trying to take all the pieces of that puzzle and bring it all into one project and make them all line up so that everything runs smooth.
So at what stage of the job, of the process, would you say you get essentially most involved?
Perfect. So there's a little bit of work before the sales team actually sells a project. The estimators, I'll help them kind of figure out what labor is going to look like on that job. But then I really get into the nuts and bolts of a job when we do the handoff meeting, and that's a process where we sit down with the estimator and the project management team, and we get a chance to go through that job step by step, detail by detail, really tear it apart and make sure that the estimators have done their job and we've got all of our ducks in a row. So that's the part that I get the most involved in, and take it from that stage through the next few weeks or so of planning before it gets handed over to the project manager at the start of the job.
Gotcha. So you talked about handoff meeting. So who all usually is at that handoff meeting?
So at the handoff meeting, we usually start with the estimator. They'll take that job and walk us through it. They've also partnered with and included in that meeting is the purchasing manager, who oversees, making sure that we got the right stuff, the right place for the right price. And then we'll include the project manager on that. That'll be the first time they see the job. And every once in a while, we'll bring in our design team if there's a job that we have that is really heavy in the design, process or aspect of the job. Then we bring them in to give their 2 cents.
Got it. So once that handoff is done, then what's your next step?
So once we have the handoff, what'll happen? Nick is our purchasing manager. So once we have that handoff, him and I sit down and review all of the selections for the job, all the product that we're going to need to get on site. And I'll actually turn that over to him. He'll work on sourcing all that material, getting it purchased, organizing, the flow of materials to the job. Once he's got a good handle on that, he gives it back to me. I take from there, and we'll go through and schedule all of our labor, so our in-house team. And I don't know if you want to show, we got a little snapshot of what that looks like up here.
Yeah.
And
I'll show everybody. You're gonna love this. It looks like NASA mission control. I'm actually almost getting a sunburn sitting here. So, so next meeting is pre-construction meeting. Once you've scheduled labor, you've scheduled materials, you have a handle on when everything's kind of going to be in order. The next step is pre-construction.
Next step is I'll contact the customer, make sure that our plan is all going to line up with them.
Cool.
Make sure everything's good there, and then together we'll set a date for a pre-construction meeting.
Nice.
And that's our first time where we get myself, our purchasing manager, we get our designers, and we get the project manager on site to be able to really take everything they've learned so far about the job and put a face to a name, so to speak. They can see what we're doing, really dig in, see if there's any other questions that might pop up.
So that's a good time for us to kind of go back over everything in person with the client, make sure there's no questions, there's no confusion on certain things, and even if there are a few changes that have happened between when the contract's sold and then there's still a chance to tie some of those loose ends up.
Definitely.
But cool. So then after that, we schedule a start date, and we're pretty much off to the races, right?
Correct. Yeah, we usually within a week or two of that pre-construction meeting, we have a start date,
Awesome.
and our project managers take it from there. And then the rest of my role is kind of hanging out in the background with those project managers, making sure that things are going smooth. I try to keep track of jobs in the background here, just watching things as they come in, and I'll jump in as they need help or if things pop up. So.
Cool. Okay, I got to show you guys this. So we're sitting in Dustin's office, and this is what we're staring at. So we've got three 55-inch screens right in front of us. He's got his screen here, and he's got another screen behind him just in case we didn't hit it all with the rest. But these do serve a purpose. So tell me a little about like even just what you have up right now.
Perfect. So I try to keep up the things that I use the most, keeping up in front of us. Over here on the right, we've got our schedule for 2022. Right now, we're just looking at the month of April. That obviously goes out month by month, but right now we've got jobs that are scheduled into October already. So, it is quite a lot to keep track of, but we need to have that all in one place. The next screen I've got up is our Builder Trend app, and that is the software that we use to keep track of projects from start to finish. What we're looking at on this one specifically is a schedule for one of our jobs, and I think on this particular job, there's about 35 different stages of the job that are going to happen over the course of 6 months, and so a lot of different moving parts and pieces, and this just helps us keep all that organized. And on our last page over there, that gives us a snapshot. That's MABCD. That's their portal. That gives us a good idea of what permits we have open right now, and helping me keep track of where we're at and what's coming up that we need to have our head wrapped around.
Schedule inspections, all that good stuff.
Yes, sir.
Cool. So, all of this is to kind of say, or to kind of show a little bit more of what happens in the background before we can start a project. One of our biggest things is we don't want to rush into a project up front before we have all of our ducks in a row, because as you know, most projects start with demolition. So it's no fun to tear out your entire kitchen and then have to sit there and wait for cabinets. It happens every once in a while just due to changes. It happens, due to style changes or something in the middle of it, and we can deal with those. But our goal is to make it the smoothest process that we can potentially, provide for the customer. So that's why we put a lot into the time between the contract signing and the start of the project, more than most. But I would say it's not a wasted time period. There's a lot happening in the background with us. So that's why we try and do all that. So Dustin, what would you say is your favorite part of the job? Well, first, how many phone calls do you get in a day?
That depends on the day, but I would say if my phone hasn't rang in about 20 minutes, something's wrong. So at that point, I'm usually checking a battery, making sure I didn't shut myself in. So it's awesome.
So favorite part of the job, favorite part of being part of the team?
Man, we do some really cool projects, and getting to help put that together from the beginning, it is really neat. And then when I get to get out on job sites and see those plans that we've made for months before this project really got off the ground, seeing those come to fruition, it's stellar. It really is a cool thing.
Awesome. Cool. Well, there you have it. Yet another person on our team that you might not get to see all that often out in the field, but he is definitely here making things happen in the office for us. So thanks everybody for watching. We will touch base with you again next week. I hope you all have a great weekend, and we'll see you later.